everybody, welcome back to the Bill and Ray Show. I'm back out in the torch shop making another marble. Today we've got one cane. I'm going to do a simple stringer with this Nemo glass and silver, and then I'm going to do another twisted cane with some cobalt and gold, and that's going to be basically the elements that you see inside the marble, some background effects. So let's get started. Hopefully I got everything running right. Had a little hiccup this morning. So we're going to start off making our silver cane with this Nemo glass, which is kind of a very pale blue-green sort of color. So we start out just heating up a piece of this glass. This glass makes a nice red glow when it's hot. And our fuming silver, so we want a bit of a reducing flame. Find our silver on our end of the rod and get that in right up against one of the candles. Some pretty good amount of silver on there, hopefully. And now we're going to trap that down with some clear. Got my 3mm clear to draw on here. And overlap these clear stripes. Make sure we're fully coated. And we get our base glass a little bit warm, it's starting to bend. And that should be all the way around. Kind of chase the heat down from one end to the other. Just I thought I had the whole thing coated. There's one stripe down there that's not, but not too important for this piece. This is kind of just a little accent, kind of a ghostly addition. So I need to just pull this out into a thin kind of stringer. Pulling most things out, it's the starting point that's a little weird trying to get going. This may wind up being kind of lumpy bumpy. This very pale translucent Nemo glass is pretty fluid when it's hot, not like a lot of colors that have some substance to them. Well, this isn't pulling out very clean, but it'll get the job done. Well, not the most technically beautiful piece of glass, but what the heck. This is not the end product, so it's just a decorative piece. I'll just tear off this end, clean up this rod for future use. And set that one aside. So the main thing in here is going to be this cobalt. So I'm going to try and do a gold fume, then cobalt, then more gold fume. But I want this to be an open structure where I can see inside it. So again, we need a section of glass heated up. And we're going for gold fume. We're going to do two stripes, just two stripes of cobalt, one on either side of this. So we want our cobalt to trap this gold fume and the idea was to see it on the inside of the cane, to be able to look through the outside into the inner layer. So I'm not sure if this will work, but give it a shot. So this is a dark cobalt, effectively kind of a black, but because it's cobalt based, cobalt tends to react really nicely with gold. Okay, so in order to see through this, that other areas of this buildup that aren't covered with cobalt. We want to burn off that gold and have clear glass looking into it. So trying to get the cobalt to lay down smooth. And some of that excess gold to get burned out. Try not to get this too crazy. Okay. So then the idea was to get more gold. On top of the cobalt stripes. Of course it's going to spray all over the place, so can't, oops, it's going to fall right off of there. Okay, well this is not how you're supposed to do it, but try and pick up our gold. It may have completely jumped ship. Okay, well, I'm having some trouble finding a chunk of gold here to work with. That might have disappeared. Well, try and have some extra pieces around here. looking to build up a significant amount of gold if I can. I seem to have some gold that's very shy at coming out and doing its thing. It gets kind of submerged onto the end of my fuming rod. Okay, well, I'm surprised this one kind of disappeared. Sometimes you heat this up and it kind of squirts out somewhere. There it is. Okay, well, hopefully this will work. And then we're going to cover it up with clear. Okay, it looks kind of messy, but I'm going to make this work. So again, the gold that's landed on the clear areas, I want to get that to actually disappear. You can see hopefully how that just kind of vaporizes off of the surface. It seems like, well, it's kind of crazy. I just look to get gold on there and then I just blow it off. But that's sometimes part of the process for me to get the gold where I want it. And even though the price of gold has shot way up, the amount we're using for a project like this is so minute. It is just really a fleck of gold. So at this stage, you can get things melted in without getting too much out of control. It's not always easy. I prefer to keep it from twisting at this point. Even though I'm going to twist it a whole bunch pretty soon. And in order to get the geometry that I'm looking for, my starting point, I want to be kind of a round cross section. Doesn't have to be exactly round, but makes a difference. So the prep before you start pulling and twisting can really affect the outcome of the cane. Okay, well, hopefully that will get it done. So now comes the twisty part. So I want a fairly gentle, I don't want too tight of a turn on this so I can see through that window. I'm trying to get this sorted to get the twist started. Keep it pretty open structured. Okay. Now, I'm just going to go over this again. cut this off here. Yeah, it just kind of looks pretty much just dark cobalt right now. Gold fume, I think, will hopefully show up more obviously in the finished marble. So we'll see. Hopefully it works. Okay, that was cobalt. Done with that. Okay, now we can move on to our larger build rod. Shape up a conical end to a large gather. So, hope everyone's doing well. We have a gorgeous fall day out here in Montana. Skies are clear. This morning when I was out with our dog at 5:30 or something this morning, it was dark out, the stars were out, it was just beautiful. I kind of kicked myself for not getting out to the telescope last night, but I was a little short on sleep and I didn't want to think about staying up all night. But maybe tonight. It's supposed to be clear tonight. Maybe I can get an image going. I've been putting some of the astrophotography images at the end of the videos. I don't know how many people will get to the end of the video and see that, but each video has had one of my astrophotos over recent years. These are all taken with a 6-inch reflector telescope. It's an astrograph style Newtonian telescope. And the camera is just an unmodified Canon DSLR camera. So it has limited, it doesn't pick up the deep red, near infrared part of the spectrum all that well. And I don't do any kind of narrowband imaging, which someday, hopefully I get more of a camera that's devoted to astrophotography and some filters. Get some more dramatic imagery. But I've been having fun for quite a few years now. I've been running a pretty simple setup. Got a guide scope, a separate camera on the guide scope. But I've been following a lot of the recovery efforts from the hurricane in North Carolina, Asheville area, and up into the mountains there. It's just seen a whole lot of disruption to infrastructure, and of course many people lost their homes, many people lost their lives, but those that are there are still really struggling to get back to functioning normally, if there ever is another normal. But I keep being impressed with the people that have come in with their equipment and their time and efforts to help people get back on their feet. There's a lot of very heartwarming efforts going on. Okay, kind of try and clean up some of the buildup there. As you condense the glass, the surface of the glass has got a little different characteristics than the interior glass, and it kind of bunches up in this zone out here. You can just kind of see it when it's in the flame. I can see it, probably can't see it on the camera. And then sometimes there's little bright spots that something going on there. But every time you touch the glass with tweezers, you introduce new problems. So it's kind of a silly effort to get rid of surface anomalies and bubbles. Okay, got quite a big chunk of glass there. Listening to some music put together by Hana, and that's her YouTube channel, H-A-N-A. And I've got a link in the description of all my videos of the session that I'm listening to, but she does long format DJ sessions that I find just really cool to listen to while I'm working. This morning I was out here getting things set up and did some smudging of the shop with a smudge stick of some cedar, and I don't know what all's in there, probably some sweetgrass. And the usual one is just sweetgrass, but since we grow lavender, we tend to do some things with lavender. The stalks make a good smudge. So I kind of go around to the four corners of the shop, and our house and the shop buildings are pretty well set on north, south, east, west, so try and kind of make a good space to work in. Get the shop warmed up, get the tunes going, do a little space clearing. If you're going to make good art, good glass, whatever you're doing, you need a good space to work in. Alright, I'm going to put down my Nemo, my silver fumed Nemo stripes. Just going to stripe this down. And I'm going to kind of go 180. And then continue to split the difference. Split the lines between there. And then we'll go in between those lines. One more pass. should do it there. I'll knock down those points that are sticking up so they don't boil up and cause too much trouble. So we'll knock this down until it's smoothed out. So the cobalt cane, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do. It didn't come out quite as thin as I was aiming for. So the way I was going to lay it down might not work the best. Okay, as this melts all the way in, flattens out, I know the surface is good and warm, I'm going to give this a little bit of torque. So I'm going to spin it against the graphite with a little bit of friction. And we'll give it a little twist. And we should clean up the tip. Okay. So this guy, I was going to stripe it along the sides, but I'm not sure if I can do that. It's kind of thick. But maybe we'll give it a go. Take a good deal of heat so I don't distort this stuff too much. It's kind of a peculiar thing trying to gauge how much cane you made and what all you can do with it. Okay, then again, I'm going to try and smush these points that are sticking up here. And let all that melt in. We've had some very cute little bunny rabbits bouncing around the yard. There's 2 of them. I think that's all there is. We tend to get these little wild bunnies once in a while. They usually don't stick around here very long. But in the wider property we see them, that it's never more than a onesie-twosie sort of thing. They have a hard time surviving here. But they're very funny. They'll walk around. They're quite stealthy. They'll just sit there still. They're just little gray cottontail bunnies. They're very, very small. Now, once they move, they're sometimes kind of hard to even see. It gives our dog something to be interested in the yard. He's always trying to track down where they've been, what they've been up to. So as this gets all melted together, it's kind of losing its conical shape. It's getting a little rounder. So we'll try and coax this in, this time without twisting pressure. Just sort of follow along with the same rotation. And again, the tip, trying to redefine this. So then I'm trying to kind of push the cone together. It's kind of elongated. Some of this we can kind of shorten it up a little. So, still got a little bit more of this cane left. Not sure how much more I can do here. So I can kind of come in between. Oh, still got more left. Let's see. Well, even though I have more cane, I think I'm gonna quit well I'm ahead. So the next phase is going to be to add some Frit. I'm going to use some blue-green color. Okay. And this is intended to just be kind of a open speckle of color Frit. So we need to get our base pretty good and hot. And roll it in here. Cover a few areas that I missed it a little bit on the edge here, but I don't want a whole bunch. That's basically all I need to do. And we're going to heat this in and smooth it out. That should be pretty good. Okay, before I move on, I'm going to take a little check on this camera. I have a different camera over here. I'm hoping it's going to behave. Okay, at this point I'm going to go straight into some black background backing. So this last week, I didn't have a video up. We were kind of busy going to an art fair in Hamilton at the Ravalli County Fairgrounds Event Center. Our local artist group, the Bitterroot Arts Guild, was having their holiday show. And Ray is in charge of the sound system and the music and announcements, and she had lots of fun doing her DJ thing. But it wasn't quite the crowd turnout we hoped for on Saturday. It was interesting. It was kind of like almost like an outdoor event when the weather's really nice. There was older folks and young families, a lot of little kids and babies, and people were having a good time. But sometimes at art fairs, people have a good time, but they don't buy much. But some people did well. We had a really good day on Friday, but not so good on Saturday, which kind of surprised us. But overall, it's a good event, good people, a lot of really, really good art. But we have lots of inventory to get online in our Squarespace store. So that's kind of where we're at now. So just trying to lay down a thin layer of black glass to make the separator between the inside and the outside. This is also a major factor when you've got fuming effects. They show up best when there's a lot of front lighting and not so much backlighting. So I'll come back around and look for spots that didn't cover as well. A few little holes. Okay, smooth this out. Okay. Give that a moment and proceed on. We're going to do some fume on the back here. I would have done gold, but I had such trouble finding gold. I'll just stick to silver. Okay, noisy torch. Alright, staying away from that tip of the marble. This first layer, trying to minimize air trap, trying to preserve the fuming. Laying down glass after this first layer doesn't have to be so pretty. Not that this is real pretty, but so picky, I guess, put it that way. Well, I, not you necessarily, but I, when I'm doing this, invariably get a variance in the way the fuming reacts to laying down this clear, and it winds up being all these little petals, very much similar to a welder's welding pedal that moves forward in little steps. In welding, they would call this stacking dimes. Okay, and we're going to seal that in. Come across this edge and thin it down. focus on the end and bring that edge in. Now we're just trying to fill in and basically throw down as much clear as fast as we can. We got the big flame on. Okay, melt all this mess in. Once again, I got my marble mug out here with a little bit of coffee, not much. Not much left. This is actually the second go at this. When I was going after this first thing this morning, I didn't have everything up and running right. But I got a good marble out of the deal. So this is Marble Day.2. Glasswork like this is a lot of patience heating up and cooling down. This one is kind of coming together a kind of a weird shape. So I'm going to coax it just a touch, a couple little touches. A little bit more concentric. Okay. Now we gotta wait for it to cool down before we can add our lines. For the color lines on the back, I've got some Silver Strike 5, and on top of that, I'm going to do blue-green, which is the same as the Frit on the inside actually, but I don't know if I've really used it on the exterior. It's the glass I like to use on the interior. And then the other one I've got, I think this is deep blue. So, we'll start out. Okay, Silver Strike 5. I use this color a lot. It's a very friendly color to work with. There's some other similar colors, butterscotch and tan silver, and a couple of these colors with lots of silver in them. Knock on wood, this color has been a good performer for me. And then we'll do the blue. Oh. That's the blue-green. That's supposed to go on top of the Silver Strike 5. Oopsie. Oh, let's pretend you didn't see that. to melt that a little bit, get that Silver Strike 5 to lay down so that I can add this color on top. There we go. Making progress. Okay, I'm going to get this stabilized before we can go on to do our raking. Let's see, we're kind of down to, need 2 punties. I'm done with most of these things. Okay. Okay, just like that. A little bit of wobbles here. Okay, I'm going to heat this up and get this to all knit together and lay down. Again, when it gets pretty toasty, we're going to on the marble mold just a little bit and try and clean it up. Actually, made a big divot in it, but okay, then we're going to punty up for our first punty. Trying to throw some heat right at that bend. So there's various crummy glass issues going on right there, and try and melt that in. This is where you tend to get that optical line around the edge, which I often do, and try to dig it out of there, but it's kind of deeply embedded into the surface of the glass. There's a function in my build process, and maybe somebody's got a different build process that doesn't do that. But trying to take that inner bend and push it out to the edge where I can try and tear some of that material off. So we really appreciate everybody that's checking out these videos and spending a little time looking through this. I always hope you guys find something entertaining or educational about it. I'm not really trying to teach anyone how to blow glass. I'm just sharing what I do. Just have you along for the ride. I try not to cut things out. Whatever happens, that's just the way that is the way it rolled. Okay, I'm going to cut along the edge of the Delmarva and then try and throw the heat to the hot side. Okay. grip is getting a little sweaty. I can't hang onto this rod tight enough to pull on it. Stop grabbing up there. Okay, switch hands here. Redneck's torch tends to build up carbon on the face. You can see these little glowing chunks sitting on the face of it. And if you don't pay attention to those or clean those off, they'll spit onto your glass and you've got little carbon schmutz in your glass. getting thirsty. This one's sort of kind of large, on the large side for marbles that I make. Bring back my larger mold here. I sit down most of the time at the torch, but the bench height is at a height that I can stand and work as well. Yeah, it all starts with the initial conical end of the clear rod, how big that surface is, and how much mass is in the canes that I'm adding onto it. And it wound up making this marble pretty large compared to what I normally do. Wouldn't fit. Got out some fresh sticks of clear rod to use as my punchy handles, and I'm glad I did. They're a little bit longer. As more I use the same punchy, it gets slowly a little bit shorter as I clean off the end and stuff. So I'm really glad I started out with some longer punches. Makes it easier to control. getting there. Taking a little bit longer doing this shaping. It's just a larger mass of glass to heat up and manipulate. Okay, we got our basic shape is done. Let this cool down a little bit. So the graphite mold will take up a lot of heat. Now we'll come in here. We're going to just do some slow rotations trying to flame polish. Make sure that end doesn't have any bumps in it. Okay. Now we need to cool down a little bit. Must be about beer 30. Goodness gracious. So get the end of this rod to a nice kind of bullet nose. Okay, get the back end glowing. Get it out of the fire, get the rod tip glowing, touch down and kind of wiggle it back and forth a little. And stress that connection just a bit. But just while it's hot. From this point on, you don't want that connection stressed at all. Trying to be careful with our moves at this point. So we heat up where that former punchy was attached, and we look for anything anomalous about where it was attached. Okay, and at this stage, I'm going to wait a minute for it to kind of skin over. And then drop it into the mold from the back side, very gently. Bring it up to a more vertical plane and work our way back to horizontal. And we'll step away from the fire for a moment. I'll keep an eye on that surface and see if everything looks nice, smooth reflections. The backing looks real nice. Give it one more flash. And that should just about do it. Another little step of patience and wait for it to get below the glowing, screaming hot stage. And all the time, just keep on rolling, keep that temperature even. Okay, when you can start seeing the interior color and stuff a little better, it's probably a sign that it's getting down there in temperature. Let's see if I can angle things here. Check our reflections, and it's looking good. Got a little sunlight streaming in here. Alright everybody, thanks for checking out another lovely marble. This one will go up on eBay Sunday. Fun stuff. So hope you all have a great day. Take care of yourselves. And take care of your friends and family around you. And be kind to everyone you meet on the street. And we will see you guys again for another adventure, another day, next week for me. Take care everybody.